Good morning, little hoes. I'm Kristen, and welcome back to my channel. So today I rolled out of bed and thought I should do a video of the houseplants collection that I have in my living room. And I said I would do this a long time ago, but things have come up. Anyway, also, it is dark season in my neck of the woods. So I bought myself a new light. But I also, even though I've worn glasses since I was a child, didn't think of the glare factor. So I do apologize. This winter is going to be the winter of glare. I'm going to call it that. So yeah, on to the kind of small but tour of houseplants in the living room. Let me flip you around. Alrighty, so this is the kind of cluttered long shot of the living room, and got a bunch of stuff on the shelves, on the floor, whatnot that we need to clean up, but whatever. You know what? Just ignore that for now. So up here, I have an Asparagus Fern, which he's always a thirsty boy. And that's what you see in there is some of this browning tips, internal foliage that's a little bit yellow. He got a little too dry once or twice, and that's why he's doing that. But I've had him a few years. Aside from the pretty high water requirements, I haven't had much issue with him. This right here is my rack. And we got this maybe a month or so ago. I was thinking of doing a video assembling it, but it was just a bunch of nonsense. So I decided not to. Yeah. I also recently put up some humidifiers on this rack because I seem to have a lot of humidity lovers congregated around. Anyway, starting at the bottom, I have my box, and that's I believe it's either a Deja Vu or Xanadu Philodendron that I recently repotted there. And then this guy here is my Fatsia japonica spider's web. He had a rough beginning. I got him early this spring at a local garden center. I was really stoked to find him because I had been wanting one of these. And then I got him, and maybe the pot was slightly too big that I put him in, but he had a very rough transition. And also, spider mites seem to love the Fatsia japonicas. And that was my battle all summer in trying to treat this guy and another plain green leaf, which I still need to bring inside. He was outside. I don't even know if he's still alive. I'll check on that later. And this is my bottom and second rack is kind of my trash racks. I have my fertilizer, some of my chemicals, soils, etc. Some of my extra pots. And that sweater is down for Freddy Cat because she likes to snoop out the window. And she seems to love sitting there to do so. And pay no attention to the wire vine in the back that's gasping for life. Pay no attention. Then I have a Ripsalis here. This is, I'm sorry, it's not. It's a changed name. Erythroripsalis pilocarpa. Always changing the names. And a unnamed Hoya. Oops, I should probably get that in focus. Unnamed Hoya back here. I believe it's the multiflora, but I haven't seen it in bloom to know for certain. An Aglaonema back there, that's Sparkling Sarah. She's not very sparkling. She's kind of interesting, but I think I like the red one better still. My Calathea mosaica, and this one hasn't been very finicky, which I'm surprised about. You hear the name Calathea and you think finicky. But to whoever of my subscribers said this one was a pretty easy one to grow, so far you are very correct. Then moving on to a rather sad Maranta, red Maranta, and I'm not quite sure what happened. He was in my sunroom. I think he got a little toasty, and then I also, shame on me, I didn't really pinch him back, and so he had a giant stem growing down, and I think all the energy started to grow into that top portion, and he just started to fail. So he needs to be cleaned up. And then some of the plants that you saw from my last haul, Ripsaliodopsis rosea, and then my Hoya, which one was this one again? Lotherbachii. And that right there is one of the Tubular Jade plants, and he also has had a rough life. He seems extremely prone to mealybugs, and I've also had some aphids on him. And I've used an imethacloprid systemic treatment on him, but he just keeps getting it. We shall see. I think it's either a golem or a brain fart. That's the variety name, brain fart. It's a golem or a hobbit. I'm not quite sure which. And that's my pregnant onion back here. And you can see the Prigger bulbs. Repotted him. I had him in a head planter, but he quickly outgrew it. But yeah, he's regaining some foliage, recuperating. Then in here, I have some of my beautiful Hoya publicalyx cuttings. And then kind of a sad little jackfruit plant back there. I've got a couple of them. And at my work, we got in an actual jackfruit. I harvested some seeds and grew them in the greenhouse. Well, it took 6 months plus for some of them to root. So very long hang time on those. Sorry, I have a... I'm hoping I'm not getting a cold. Okay, sorry, my video cut out because I had no more storage space. Meh. Anyway, I was saying I have a coffee voice this morning, or I have a cold. So right here is my Monstera Silt and Pecana. And he's kind of right under one of my humidifiers, so he's getting a little bit more humidity. And these, if you can kind of see, there's one, there's two. Those were guys that I rooted pretty early this spring after this guy put off new growth for me. And root really easily, I just put them in water. And so I'm trying to fill out this pot a little bit more with this beauty. And then my new Philodendron guttiferum, which you guys probably saw in my haul video from the plant farm a while back. And he's put off a new leafy poo, which I'm quite excited about. Although it does sort of trash my bunny ear plant that I had with the new growth, but whatever, he'll be beautiful. I'll just have to make my own bunny ears. And then back there is, I believe this is a Dracaena something or other. I don't know. I can't remember the name of it. I'll try and put it up on the video. It's a really cutie. Very slow to bulk up. For me, the gold Pothos. It's been a slow grower. I started him as a cutting just for funsies. Slow to bulk up. Then my adorable little Obata Hoya. And let's check. Oh yeah, he still has mealybugs. Alright, I didn't crush them all. So I shall be treating that a little later. And then this is my Can you even see that? There you go. This is my Hattie Ora. And I'm just going to take it. So I'm going to show you guys. I think this was once in the Ripsalis family, but again, underwent some name changes. He's really cute. I think they call this Drunkard's Dream, too. Common name. And then a little Piccolo Banda. Get that in focus if I can. Peperomia there. Tiny babe. I'm kind of over some Peperomias. Are there any plants that you guys have collected and suddenly you're just like, I'm kind of over it? I think it might be Peperomias for me. At least some of the more mounding types. I still very much love the trailers and hope to get more, but the moundings, they just kind of fizzle for me. Anyways, variegated Hoya carnosa back there, and the new arrival, and then the Rafa de Fora here that y'all might have seen in my last haul video. He's got some new growth up at the top. Again, the lighting is going to be terrible over the winter, and I do apologize. Also, I should probably just get it in focus. That helps. But boyfriend and I are going to eventually try to make like a little plaque or something for him to climb up. They call this the shingle plant because these stems will grow up just a flat piece of wood and layer over each other. Super cool growth. And then a Tenanthe cutting back there. Which, look, I didn't even notice he has a new little baby. And this is surprising because he is extremely neglected. And I feel bad. But he seems to be thriving on neglect. And then another Hoya. This is, I don't know which one this is. It came in a batch of unnamed Hoyas at work. Took a cutting. I imagine it's probably the Crimson Queen or whatnot. Then the Hoya Curtisii, which I just watered because I realized he was pretty bone dry. Then Hoya retusa. Hoya retusa doing fine so far. Hoya Macrophylla doing not so fine. And I'm not sure. I think I might want to move him up away from some of my other Hoyas. But he is not looking so hot. I'm not sure if he had some sort of fungal issue going on. He wasn't super pretty when I got him. I'm sure some of you will remember the shit tips he had on him. But those died back, started shriveling, and some of the leaves started turning yellow as well. So I'm not sure if it was just I shouldn't have repotted him too soon and he was stressed out from leaving the humid greenhouse where he was grown to my house. All of the above, fungal issue, whatever. So if this does not survive, I will be trying again. And I have a ginormous aloe back there. This is one of my favorite aloes, and I believe it will be the Bellatula. You guys probably noticed I had more of these guys in my sunroom tour, and I got this as a no-name plant from Walmart a couple years ago, but it has incredibly fast growth, and it responds really well to fertilizer, so if you like aloe blooms, this is a rewarding one to grow for the flowers, especially if you fertilize semi-frequently. Then I just have a cutting jar right there. And then some of my humid-loving babies. And as you can see down there, I have a tiny humidifier, which it's more of a cool humidifier. This one over here is more of the warm, oh, bubbles, warm, humid air producer. That was an extremely long sentence. Yeah. So I personally think I prefer the cool air. There's a lot of condensation that happens with the warm air humidifiers. So eventually, when I have more money, I might change that out for another cool air humidifier. And this was the Splash Gordon I got a while back from Glass Houseworks. And he seems to be quite happy. Can I even get that in focus? Focus! He's got a new baby leaf coming out there, which I'm super excited about. And look at, you kind of see that weird variegation starting on him. Yeah, he's a beauty. I'm excited to see him as he grows up. Then my painted lady, Philodendron. She hasn't done much recently. Over the summer, she did put off a couple of leaves. That was a piece of bark falling to the ground, that sound. And then this beauty is a cutting I took a while ago of my Monstera Aidani. And this was remarkably slow to root in water, but once it did, it took pretty well to the soil. And now it's just trying to bulk him up. I'm thinking I might try and put this one on a stake. My other one, as you guys have seen several times, is just loosey-goosey, trailing around the room and creating some amazing long vines. This guy, I kind of want to see how big I can get the leaves, so I might stake him. Then my baby Calathea Macrame, I believe it was. The Peacock Kaliesha. It has some really cool little window panes, very similar to the Mosaica. Then my baby Ornata Kaliesha, a little beat up, but he's doing all right. They seem to be doing okay with just some even moisture. Then this booty, which I keep having to rotate because he keeps growing toward the sun, is my Burl Marks Variegated Philodendron. And the freaking variegation is just so stunning. So happy I bought this plant, even though it was a little out of my price range. This is my Ring of Fire Philodendron. Hasn't put off new growth. This leaf got snapped off. I'm really bummed about it, but I think this will be some new growth happening soon. So I might give him some fertilizer. He's been in that pot a while, establishing his root system, so I think he could do for a little bit of fertilizer. And that guy is putting off a new leaf, my Gloriosum that took a month to get here. And there is some spotting on the leaves. I'm not sure exactly what that is. I'm not too concerned about it yet. It doesn't seem to be taking over the entire leaf or anything like that. But new growth on my Gloriosum. I'm pretty excited about that. And then that guy falling out is a variegated lipstick plant that I moved in here. He's grown pretty well from cuttings. Then up there, I'm not sure how well you can see it, but I've got a crispy wave, Asplenium right there. I moved him from a dish in the bathroom to a smaller pot and put him above the humidifier. So if he's not happy above a freaking humidifier, then there's no amount of humidity that will save him. Then behind him will be another jackfruit. And I did put him out for a little bit in the summer. Slight new growth, but not a whole lot. They are, like I said before, pretty slow growers, both growing from seed and just indoor conditions, growing the plant up. I'm sure in a humid environment he'd grow, like the tropics, he'd grow a lot faster. But whatever. That's my Epiphyllum Can't remember the species, maybe it was Oxypetalum. But he's bloomed once for me, and that bloom, excuse me, is incredible. They bloom toward evening, and they are the most beautiful, fragrant flowers. They send out really long whips, as you can maybe observe there. Some of those whips just get way too leggy and you snap them off. I try and leave any of the shorter, more leafy varieties. That right there is another golden pothos. I had him in the bedroom and it's very dark in there. He was starting to go downhill. So I brought him out here to sort of rejuvenate him, give him some brighter light, a little bit more regular watering. And also those cuttings in that jar from earlier are more of him, so I might fill that entire pot to pack it in a little bit better. And then a little green spider plant with holes from cat munching. So yeah, this will be my rack. My lovely lady rack. Check it out. Then moving over here, I have some of my big boys. I believe that will be a Sloam filly. Then the big split leaf, which still desperately needs to be staked better, put on a totem. The leaves are quite large. And this will be my bird of paradise. I moved him in here because I wanted to make room for the roommate's jade plant. It's a big, massive one. Hasn't been doing so well, so I thought the sunroom might be better for it. And I don't think the birds of paradise are too picky, so here he shall live until next year, and I'm planning on taking him outside for some of it. Then this cool dude, we got in at work and I snaggled one, and he does have some spots, but I really don't think those are fungal anymore. I think they might be some sort of spray used in the greenhouse, just because we got a new batch in and they didn't have any fungal issues, so maybe they sprayed this guy with something or some sort of chemical damage. I believe this one was called the narrow philodendron. I did think when it first came in that it was the jungle boogie, and I'm not sure how they might differentiate if at all. If anyone knows, I'd love to hear. Are the narrow philodendron and the jungle boogie kind of the same thing, or is a jungle boogie a hybrid? I don't know. In here, this really cool, massive macrame. I put my ginormous $3 Hoya obovata, and I also have the cissus in there, albonidens. And then I'm gonna move my light a little bit. This right here is my happy plant table. And that right there is Mama's morning juice, power juice, coffee. It's not working so well. I'm still quite tired. But I have a curly locks epiphyllum there. Tiny baby. Then in that blue pot is going to be my monkey cup or Nepenthes. I did have him in the bathroom because I thought he needed extreme humidity, but my friend Jess said that hers was not in a particularly humid spot and it did just fine, so I decided I have more room for it out here. Plus there's things that need the humidity in the bathroom a lot more. So that will be him. Then my new ficus, the Ficus Ally, I believe it was. Yes. And If you guys will remember, I wasn't sure if I wanted to get this plant. It was kind of just a spur of the moment decision. And I'm really glad I got him though, because I love the way he looks. Oops. Yeah. Something fell. No worries. He has such an unusual foliage and look to him. I think it really adds something to this little corner. Then that's my Dickia. I'm not entirely sure of the species. The grower I got it from, he told me what he thought the species was, so it's something else. If anyone is familiar with this particular one, I'd love to hear. It's definitely not the silver nickel. That one has a lot more silvery foliage and closer spines. And I do want you to all observe the cat fur. This snags more cat hair than any other plant I own. I'm not sure if the cats enjoy it and brush up against it, or if it's by accident and they're missing chunks of fur. Who knows? This guy is my Ficus Altissimo, and I'm not sure if it's a cultivar or just a variegated variety. Maybe it's gold gem or something like that. I don't know, but I like the foliage a lot. It adds some, the ficus in here definitely adds some needed structure. Then over there I have a Norfolk pine and a Calathea that I believe to be Freddy, just like my kitty name. And then my special angel begonia I got last week, and a Ripsalis trigona. And then my little, I love to thrift, if you guys haven't figured that out by my other videos and all my thrifting treasures. But I got that little cloche at Goodwill for like $3. So I put in some of my favorite mossy bits and some crystals. Oh, I also forgot my Pilea peperomoides there. Hasn't grown particularly tall, and I'm not sure why, but he's got a cool barky stem on him, which is neat. Anyway, this is the living room. I lost some footage the other day, so I just wanted to add this back in. That this right here is the broad view again of the living room. And the rack area is going to be pointed north, and that will be the west. And then I'm going to flip you over. There's just a couple other things. This little area here with my thrifted basket, silver striped spathiphyllum, moonlight, and cylindrical sansevierias here. And I really like this sort of silvery compilation here of plants. And then my very last one, Marble Queen Pothos in the back, in the corner, because she's been a bad girl. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!